Hi there, welcome to the Noah Presgrove case. This is just going to be a discussion one where I catch up on some comments and acknowledge them, answer any questions if needed, check for any new information and points of interest in regards to maybe Kane and Pressy, side-by-side rollover and events like that at the party. This is an actual pre-recorded video because it's been done in advance, as in the day this comes out. I'm not making videos for obvious reasons. Nevertheless, let's get in deep and see what people have had to say in recent time. Here we are. I'll just adjust it to the newest and then start from the bottom, work way up. Right, William Galloway. I didn't hear anything about ligature marks from a seatbelt, neither did I. So I think that just came into discussion about switching place and stuff. But then again, no, that was a previous video. Yeah, I get what William is getting at here because I did question in my video that was Noah wearing a seatbelt at the time of the rollover? If it did roll over, would it have led to ligature marks though? I don't know. I mean, if you crashed and you remained up, if you had to brake hard in a collision, as you go forward, your body jolts, the seatbelt holds you back and it digs in. I can imagine marks and bruises, but if it just rolls over to the side, the seatbelt isn't exactly holding you back. You kind of just like with the gravity as you fall into your side, you haven't got seatbelts on the side of your body, it's on the front, so maybe marks wouldn't show anyway, even if you did have them. One day, good job, Raf. Thank you for highlighting important factors. Appreciate that. You're welcome. That's good. And we got Claire with Kenny. Yeah, the Kenny focus in recent time. We got Vanessa. Appreciate that, Vanessa. We got Joyce. If Noah had grass in both shoes, does that mean he had odd shoes on then? What's the response? Good question. I don't think we'll ever know. Well, why did it kick me off? That's weird. It's never done that before. In terms of when it comes to the shoes, mismatched ones, both having grass within the laces. A question I asked last night was, did the Hey Dude shoe have like laces, holes? And some people said yes, so that's how grass could collect. But how would grass collect in the shoes? Maybe if your feet were dragging on the ground and it catched that way with the debris and the loose grass blades, maybe. Yeah. Joyce, in the side-by-side, what, with the grass? I mean, maybe if you weren't strapped in with a seatbelt and you rolled over and you fell out at the time somehow, but your legs also scraped across the ground, maybe that's where the grass could come from. I mean, besides bits of grass in the shoes, was there any grass stains from skidding, sliding, being dragged? Because that's another thing that can happen with clothing material. Timothy, we all know this is not true. One lie leads to another. But what we're referring to here, we all know it's not true. What, about the side-by-side? About what Caden has stated? I wonder. Repeated blows caused his injuries. Maybe. Do we have 100% proof? Well, I guess in the background you got that video footage of the murder, but for those that haven't seen the footage, it'll be hard to believe, in fairness. Safia. Thanks, Rafi. We love you and think you're amazing. So obviously very nice to see comments like that. So shout out to Safia. Appreciate that. Good individual. And a nice profile picture as well. Moving on. Skippy. If Noah was wearing his shirt during the side-by-side accident, there might have been some blood on it from his nosebleed. Yeah, the same shirt Caleb later gave away as if it was his right to do so. Did he treat it as a trophy he could keep or give it away, or did he see blood on it and got rid of it just in case someone assumed it was from when Noah was killed? I get that, it's good thinking by Skippy. Gotta acknowledge it. I mean, the video footage of Noah, it'd be interesting to see how bad his nose was and what caused that actual damage. Was it a broken nose, or was it just a burst blood vessel? Was it a cut on the nose or on the inside? How much blood loss? How much on the shirt, if there was any? Was that the main reason for having a wash, or was it more so getting rid of the dirt on his body, as Jack focused on? And why didn't Jack ever highlight that Noah had a bloodied nose? Trisha, he treated it as a trophy in my opinion. Safia says, you're right, Skippy. Who the hell gave him the right to do that? Just shows the bad character of that man. Skippy, agree. Probably was a power play, showing others he has power, so they better not cross him, his family, nor his party family pals. Maybe. Agree, that was such a low-life action. Wow, you said maybe Caleb saw blood on Noah's shirt and gave it away or got rid of it because of damning evidence. I never thought of that. Good theory. Skippy, it's just such an odd thing for anyone to give away a shirt. We don't even know who he gave it to, but it wasn't to Noah's family. Maybe he said he gave it away but really destroyed it. Who knows? K, what still doesn't make sense to me is how did Noah's fingertips get so shredded? How would a side-by-side accident cause that? Well, I didn't suggest that, unless other people did. In terms of shredded tips, never mentioned in the autopsy. But what are the responses? Trying to grab something solid whilst it rolled. Julie, they weren't shredded. Go back and read about it. The family has stated the fingertips were not damaged. What does CV say? Odd, because I watched the interview his family gave saying his fingers were so cut up. The only word she could think of to describe it was shredded. Perhaps they recanted later. I thought too. Oh. I thought I heard the word shredded from the family. Also now I'm in doubt. Do we know when or where it was said? It was Ashley Banfield who said that on her news programme. I thought they would need to run that by the family to check for accuracy. I don't think they would have broadcasted that if it's not true. It's weird. And yet, it's an injury at the end of the day. If you do have shredded tips, that's an injury. Why wasn't it mentioned on the autopsy report then? Because it went into great lengths and details with the other injuries, which could be linked with a beating. Why not mention the shredded tips? That's what's lacking. That's what makes it dodgy. Ashley Banfield's news programme. I remember her saying that. You'd think they'd need to run it by. Maybe it's true. So that sounds like defensive wounds. Okay. Now, Noah had missing fingernails. That I do know. The news outlet said his fingers were scraped to the bone. Maybe Noah's family was saying his fingers weren't as bad as the news outlet stated, which is strange to me because missing fingernails is pretty bad. One person was telling me they thought his hand was run over by one of the tyres, but I don't know, seems unlikely. If his hand was run over by a tyre, would there be any tyre marks or imprints at all? And would there be any broken bones in the hand? I don't remember hearing that on the autopsy. Okay, it was on the News Nation. They stated his fingertips were shredded and they found gravel under his nails. The video is still on YouTube. It's 5 months old. What's weird is I'm pretty sure she was reading reports from what the autopsy and investigators put. But was it put on paper though? From when I read it, I didn't see any mention. From my memory at least. Does anyone else remember? Eric, or being dragged. Jay says, yes, the family did say his fingers were shredded originally on the Full Load podcast, and then they recanted that later and said his fingers weren't shredded. So why the change up, I wonder? Which makes absolutely no sense. And it's very odd for them to have done. Only thing that makes logical sense here is that maybe Ellie didn't want the public to know those details about his fingertips being shredded, as only the killer would know that detail and how it happened in case someone confessed in order to verify it's a false confession or true. Or in case if someone that was the killer or involved slipped up and revealed that detail, inadvertently telling on themselves and or those involved. Safia, I know I've seen the video. Banfield is on News Nation. I think the fingers really were shredded. Then it was realised they shouldn't have revealed that info. I think it's true. Why would that report be so detailed otherwise? I do find it interesting how shredded fingertips can be retracted and it could give off the sense that it could be very valuable within the case. Yet it's quite okay to publicly reveal the torn scalp on top of the head, which sounds pretty brutal and caused by certain specific things, which could give away a form of foul play and even some additional details too. That was revealed, but this shredded fingertips seems more important and more secretive, but it's not as significant of an injury as a torn scalp and some others. So, Stands out, doesn't it? Oh wow, thanks for the info. Kind of hard to keep up with it all. The shredded finger descriptive brought to my mind the image of being dragged by one's feet, so I suppose the idea of mine is incorrect. If Noah was dragged at some point and he was holding on or making contact with the ground and it scraped, at what point would that be? When he's dead, in the process of being killed, or being disposed of? What would you apply it to, if it's true? Your theory is another possibility that I've ran through my mind as well, because Ashley Banfield said his fingers were shredded as if he had been holding on to something for dear life, so it's very possible he was dragged, or it's from putting his hands up during the beating, trying to protect his head. But really, shredded fingers, even if it's down to the bone, requires a form of friction or being cut with a sharp object. You put your hand into a blender, not going to end well. You get stabbed with a knife and slit all over, not good. You get whacked with a heavy object, it could break fingers, bones, and could pop out, but not exactly shredded, the act of it, in my opinion. If you had your hand near to sandpaper, you could be ripped off the skin, the surface layer. If you were being dragged to somewhere and your hands were out, trying to slow your fall or trying to slow yourself down, it's just going to wear away. Certain ways that cause it. Denissa, was the side-by-side a 2-seat or 4-seat? I'm guessing it's a 4-seat. My mind, there are ATVs, tricycle, 1 wheel in front and 2 wheels rear with the 1 seat. I thought a side-by-side is 4 wheels and a 2-seater. But I know there are new models with up to 4. I think what we've got to acknowledge is I believe that when it came to the shooting of the animals, when it was Sunday afternoon getting towards night time, they were in Jack's Ford Ranger pickup truck, not the side-by-side. So it could differ in seating arrangements and the amount. Maria says, hi Warlight Raf, welcome. I really don't believe Noah Presgrave got hurt with the side-by-side. I think it's a cover-up story. Makeup. Right. Okay. I mean, Maria, if that's what you think, your opinion, what about Caden Pressey stating that he saw the video of Noah hurt with a bloodied nose? You can be hurt, you don't have to be dead. And whilst you're hurt, it doesn't have to lead to death in that moment, because maybe the injury isn't that serious. But if you're hurt, you're hurt. And if Caden Pressey saw that, then should we believe in it or not? Anyway, Maria continues to say, I think they're putting the blame on the side-by-side. Noah Presgrave got beat up, killed. Question, why would Jack Newton be the first person to call a hit and run like he was so sure about it? Noah Presgrave was killed by maybe 4 or 5 partygoers, my opinion. And by the way, I don't believe there was 40 people at the party. No way, all I see is always the same kids. Fair point. Pressey is not saying everything he knows. Out of all 40 partygoers, like Pressey mentioned, at least one should have known what really happened to Noah. But so sad, I don't think there was 40 partygoers in my opinion. I believe Noah Presgrave got brutally killed by weapons brought to the party, my opinion. Fair enough. Maria using appropriate language, it's good to see. As for the 40 partygoers, well, Caden Pressey stated that there was 40 there. Maybe some other people in between have stated there was 40. I think Justin Roy re-quoted it and said it was about 40 at some point. But as for the days when they attended, that differs since, which is a bit problematic. No responses there. CC, the videos can't be viewed because the kids are keeping them from being seen. The people they trust to keep a secret have seen these videos. Ellie doesn't have them. If Ellie had those videos, they would have never charged. If Ellie had those videos, they have never charged anyone with murder. There would be no need for Ellie to restrict the videos otherwise. In terms of those videos, CC, are you talking about the shower video, the side-by-side, and the highway, and a possible murder video? All of them or some of them as examples, possibly? I mean, if it's true that some of the kids from the party, well, partygoers, teenagers, adults, whatever you want to call them, have got the videos and they're keeping them private, well, supposedly there was some public civilians, general public, on Facebook pages that have claimed to have seen some of the videos, or at least the shower one. And they're not exactly friends, supposedly, with these party goers. So what the hell happened there? Who posted it first, and why did they delete it afterwards? Did they think, oh, can't trust him? I mean, who would even think it's a sensible idea to publicly post it, especially if you're in the wrong, on the dark side, and you think, right, I'm going to publicly post this video on one of the Facebook pages. I don't know why, unless it was leaked somehow and then resolved later. Jade says, why is YouTube deleting my comments? Because YouTube is dodgy and inconsistent. There have been times in the past where people have assumed that it's me doing it and then they have a go at me, but I'm not doing it. It's YouTube. YouTube have deleted my own comments. YouTube have even frozen my live premieres. So whilst other people are still watching, it's buffering for me, right? You know, I go around fixing people's Wi-Fi boxes, bits and bobs along the way, but then when it comes to me, it all goes to shit. Unlucky me. Anyway, Safia says, me too, I just left a really good and relevant comment and it was deleted. That is a shame. Mine too, a couple of times today, lots of censorship here. It's just very random, to be honest, because some people can leave some negative comments, some really bad words. You know, the default people, the random outsiders who just pop in once and say something. Some of the comments aimed at me. I mean, you know, what was it? Maybe someone used the R word on me. I think said, are you on the spectrum? Things like that. And, you know, they don't get deleted by YouTube. And then someone comes along with a normal comment or a positive one, and then they get deleted by YouTube. It's so silly. We got Carly says, it was happening to me too. Sometimes YouTube can be annoying. They were deleting my comments and then unsub me from the channel. I have to watch closely because they're bad about turning notifications. That's so true. When it comes to my channel, people are unsubscribed randomly. Makes no sense. This person here, the other people would get hurt also. I don't believe it. Yes, it got hurt supposedly from side by side. Yeah, who were the passengers and were they injured, yes or no? If Noah had a bloodied nose, what did that mean for the passengers? CC also says, a different CC, says, then what happened to the golf clubs? Well, that was explained. Oh, Carl is onto it. Like Will RF has said many times, disappearance of the golf clubs, in my opinion, is sketchy. US or dodgy UK. We've got Carl with the dictionary. Eric. And the other shoe, someone had to come across the other one during the cleanup, and you'd think that since they were giving out his clothing, someone would have got the hat and the shoe. That's a good point. Yeah. We can talk about the mismatched shoes. Noah was wearing one of his own, which was the Adidas one, and the Hey Dude shoe, which was Ken and Press's. But what happened to Noah's other Adidas shoe? Where did it go, and why did it disappear? It's just a shoe. Not that significant, is it, if it was left at the house? Mark still doesn't explain why Noah would be naked on the side of the road, does it? Oh, okay. Well, I'm sorry. I mean, we are focusing in on a particular event one by one. It doesn't have to directly fast track ahead and link to the end outcome. We're looking at the significance of, was Noah injured, yes or no, in the side-by-side? And from the looks of it, he was. So then, did that impair him later? Did that give him a disadvantage, yes or no? Made it harder for him to defend himself? That's what we're looking at. Exactly, still no other shoe. Interesting point. Community would have been up in arms on the warpath, wouldn't they? Again, why would somebody do that? Seemingly to get rid of any evidence directly connecting anyone at the party. If I killed somebody in a foreign army, I wouldn't leave them derobed. In other words, I would never desecrate them like that. Even knowing the enemy trying to kill me, I would not leave a dude naked. I would want the family or whoever receives the body to have some resemblance of human dignity. Enough out of me. Which about the French Foreign Legion? JC says, discretion of a human corpse and other serious crime committed with public officials involved all caught on the video too, which OHP investigators have known about since September, October 2023, yet no arrests have been made, which tells you that they're involved in the cover-up too. The FBI needs to be investigating everything at this point. Investigators' investigation and needs to take over Noah's case, which Ellie misconduct, involvement and corruption makes it the FBI's jurisdiction in order to do so. We got Carly says, I agree, Mark. I think this was the actor trying to humiliate Noah even in death and just absolute disrespect to the point of it being a mockery. And I totally agree that if it happened to a girl, it would have been handled very differently. Exactly. Now, when I think about it, a form of desecration, a form of humiliation to Noah's body with nothing on him, you could argue and say it could possibly link to a particular video at the party. I might need to do a video on that. I know it's a bit vague at the moment, but I'm just trying to make sure I don't misunderstand it. So I'll try and work on that video another day regarding some footage. Mark says, either some weird accident nobody can explain or some serious resentments towards Noah. They said rigor mortis had set in that takes hours. By the time he got, it was the ME. Rigor mortis complete. I thought it was liver mortis. Which one's first, liver mortis or rigor mortis? Let's see. Well, it was 15 minutes after death occurs. It depends on the health of the descendant, the temperature and the conditions of the place the body was left in, and a few other factors I can't remember at the moment. Rigor mortis is also supposed to leave a body after a certain period of time, but that doesn't always happen. At times morticians are forced to break bones in order to get a body in the right position to place them. They work very hard to loosen and relax muscles. HDP, well, this is the closest reconstruction of vehicle and pedestrian enactment of that night that we're probably ever going to get. There you go. That was a reenactment by me with the little vehicle, but every little bit can help. Wisdom, torso, neck, back injuries, but nothing really on extremities and defense wounds could have caused this even in a beating. Is it possible a stranger, picked him up alone on the highway in a van, made a sexual pass which was rejected, and they beat him up in the van by tying his extremities away from assault and then dumped him? Poor handsome Noah would possibly explain a little blood around him on the highway because it was in the vehicle. I'm as seeking as all of you, just trying to go backwards. Fair enough. Do people agree? CV, his fingers were shredded supposedly, from what family and autopsy report says. Well, I looked at the autopsy report and I don't remember seeing anything mentioned about shredded fingers. It's been a while. Carl, I guess it's possible, but with no witnesses of a vehicle, then it's a long shot. Oh, here's this one. 42, wrong. That's misinformation. What bit is misinformation? Oh, shredded fingers. Sonny. Well, very interesting. You're welcome, Sonny. Good individual. Yes. Skippy. If this was a premeditated killing, they would have done it by the river or the railroad tracks, so it would be further from the house and therefore no way of linking it to them. I think it was rage-driven with intent to kill, and they had to get rid of evidence and make it seem as he was hit by a vehicle. They attacked him on the property or near to the scene and quickly transported his body to the highway via the side-by-side or truck, which may have also been used in the attack, then hosed off the vehicle, which is why Caden saw the wet patio. But if the vehicle was being hosed off, the vehicle wouldn't be on the patio, would it? In terms of the wet patio, to be honest, I'm sure Caden Pressey said the wet patch was, the patio area, but the what do you call it, the front porch. Do you know where Jasmine Millan stood when she took a selfie, Snapchat post? There, not the extent of the patio where you go down the steps, but on the front porch area, which is a small surface area. So it could have been more so a spilled drink. Because if it was wet all over and water trickled down and spread about, things being hosed off, but it was really close to the property, and I don't think you'd have certain things that close to the property. The shower was after the side-by-side rollover. He may have wanted to clean off the dust and the blood. I think so. If there was blood, get rid of that. Since they said others also showered off, but the shower didn't happen after he was killed. It's too hard to move a body into an enclosed room bathroom from outside the house with several people sleeping inside. What I'd like to know is, as a physical or emotional response, what's Noah Presgrave like when he is injured? Small-scale injury, big-scale injury? Is he bothered by it or not? Is he likely to seek help, attention for it to be fixed, or is he like, oh well, it doesn't matter, it's just a scratch? That's what I'd be interested to know. Carl, shower was not post-mortem with your good reasons. My theory fits your narrative mostly. I've stated many times former FBI agent Fillmore said in Partners in True Crime interview that he thinks there was some kind of beatdown with golf clubs and or with butt of a gun, then run over with a truck or side-by-side, lengthwise and no tired tracks across body, then they dumped his body on the highway, make it look like a hit and run. That FBI agent's theory makes sense. I'll have to look at that interview. I mean, there's a lot to process. I'm just trying to catch up with comments, acknowledge them, so then you can see them yourself, because, you know, this is a pre-recorded video. It's a busy day. TJ, great demonstration video. Appreciate that. Thanks for all your hard work putting into the videos. So that's really good. So it's good that, you know, people did like the demonstration. Just, you know, working with what I've got. Carl, to Raf, and anyone who has seen the so-called murder video, I haven't seen it, or knows of its content. 1, is it clear in identifying everyone, or is it dark, murky, and hard to see? Yeah, okay. Number 2, does it seem like it's in a field by the party house or on a road? Good question. Was there a side-by-side or truck running over Noah? And 4, has Caden ever said that he's seen the murder video? Not from what I know of. You've not mentioned it. The one time where he could have mentioned it possibly would have been in that private interview with police in June, where the police said, are there any other videos out there which have not been posted public, but they're out there somewhere? And Kane said, oh yeah, the highway. But he didn't mention anything about a murder video. So I'm guessing he didn't see it. We got 10 gallon Lego. Lego Jack's hat cracked me up. Yeah. I think I got the Lego characters mixed up, because the one I was referring to as somebody else, as Cards Cones, people were saying it looked more like Noah. But to be honest, with the figures, I didn't really plan it through that deeply. I just was using what I've got. Glenn, shout out. 42, who knows? Great coverage, too many questions. Still suspicious on what? Colton Newton and or Caleb. So appreciate that. That's good. We got Carleen saying, I definitely don't think he was trying to use the side-by-side to leave, right? Because why then would he let other people in it with him? Well, the reason why he could is because Noah wasn't the only person that made his way down to the party house by getting a lift. Other people did too. Who exactly? Maybe Mikey, maybe some others. I don't know all the names. But we know that Noah got a lift down to the party on the Sunday. And others did too. So Noah may have wanted to go early, didn't get the chance opportunity, was rejected and thought, you know what, I'll try leaving myself. Any other guys want to come? Any other people want to get dropped off home? It's one way of looking at it. But because of the state Noah was in, possibly drunk, wasn't able to drive properly, it's one way of looking at it. Either way, Carleen goes on to say about why would he let other people in it? It'll be in the backyard. Also, that's probably why he had the tip over, because usually backyards aren't level, okay, but rather bumpy or hilly, in my opinion anyways, and probably he went to the backyard. Could be more fun, I imagine. I believe the tip over also more than a rollover, because the said just laid over on its side. That's why no damage. In a rollover, there probably would be damage. Yeah, a proper roll going all completely rolling over. Yeah, maybe it's just how it was worded. Yeah, I get that, fair enough. Just finishing up on this video now, I agree that Jack has seemed to have minimised his arguments. Noah's condition, definitely with the side-by-side. Other stuff like no emotions, best friend's funeral. Well, in terms of emotions during bad times, difficult times, everyone will react differently, so got to take that into consideration. Actually, I'm over this mind effing game, back and forth. It's side-by-side or murder. It's effing murder, too many lies, and so-called Jack Newton knows so-called best friend, dry-eyed, arriving back at the party house, announcing in a matter of fact manner, Noah is dead. Nah, this is foul play at its best. Why was he naked and left on the road, black shorts, and then all of a sudden they became white, murdered? This one. Manda? Is that Amanda? I don't know. I thought in the autopsy he had a neck back injury that was concluded to only happen during an ATV crash. I've never heard it worded like that. When it came to certain injuries to do with the head, and they said it takes a great amount of force, it could be associated with a possible beating from what external experts suggested. One day there was more than one UTV ATV that weekend plus a modified vehicle. Can't remember if it was a Ranger or a Jeep. Okay. It was a jacked up Ford Ranger mud truck. Wait. Is that a play on words? Do you know, like when you say what pissed Jack off? We got jacked up Jack off in his Ford Ranger mud truck. Or do you mean like jacked up as in it's been enhanced? Or are we saying that Jack Newton and his Ford Ranger? Well, from what Caden Pressey said in the interview, when they went shooting animals Sunday afternoon, getting towards the night, they were in Jack's Ford Ranger. So yeah, but to say jacked up, I don't know if that was intentional or not. Amanda says, I'd like to know who was driving Caden Pressey's cousin when his mom had said she told her to stop where she was and was coming to get her. It seemed to fall in the timeline of Noah's disappearance. I don't want to say because I'll probably get it wrong, but I believe that the cousin left with a friend at the same time. Whether they were in the same vehicle or not, I'm not too sure, but I think there might have been someone else driving. Either way, supposedly this happened before the death of Noah. Lisa, yes, there are tyre tracks from the side-by-side in that creepy video you just showed us with that man in the white suit standing by the house. Well, in the end, it turned out not to be a person in a white suit standing by the house. It was like some water meter or water box. Yeah, more than one box laying about. In terms of that footage, that was 2024. Personally, I didn't see any track marks, but to be honest, with enough time passing by, I don't think those track skid marks would remain there all that time through weathering, through grass growing. I think it would have been covered up by them. Anyway, looks like someone did a donut or spun out on that dirt road leading up to the house. Also, I think I saw the same side-by-side tire track marks on the shoulder of the road where Noah's body was placed. Really? I saw side-by-side tire marks in a curve as if someone was turning around in the road right next to Noah in the crime scene photos. Could that be down to Tyler or Tyler Hardy with the truck turning about and parking up on the side? Maybe. I don't know. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. And we got Carly says, excellent video demonstration as always. Much appreciated. There we go. Shout out to Carly. It's a good name, that. It's like Carly can Carly be short for California? Maybe. All in all, just wanted to catch up there because I can't always keep up with the comments, and sometimes that can apply to chats as well. Sometimes I speak in general to acknowledge everyone, but when it comes to these type of videos, focusing in on particular comments, it can create some interesting discussions and possible new ideas for the future. So we'll see what happens next, see if I can think of any more ideas myself, note them down and go from there. But thanks for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. Be sure to check out last night's if you haven't already, top right corner screen where the eye symbol is. Leave your thoughts and comments down below in this video if need be, and if not, there will be a pinned comment if you want to support this channel. With that all being said, I'll see you next time. Goodbye for now.